I did it, guys. I've become the Halo Infinite technical showcase, and I have some thoughts. Before we jump into it, I know it's not a beta, but I'm just going to call it a beta throughout the video because that just rolls off the tongue way better than test flight or technical showcase. Anyways, my thoughts on it. First off, I want to thank 343 for randomly selecting me to take part in this. I'm really excited for this game, and it's awesome to play it so early. It kind of sucks that the insanity of the first day happened, but if I'm going to be honest, I'm not surprised that it did. I feel like the first day of every beta is just a shit show. For the actual game, we'll start with the negatives first, and then get into my positives, and then we'll finish it off with the stuff I just didn't really mess around with that much. I wasn't really having the most fun with it during the first few hours. I think that just boils down to Team Slayer only being against bots, and me still getting used to the controls. Like, left trigger being ADS took me way too long to get used to, exclusively because it was a Halo game. There were moments where I was like, alright, when this guy turns the corner, I'm going to chuck a plasma grenade at him and stick him. And then as soon as he does, I just aim down sights. I would also get crouch and melee mixed up too. I'm not going to really blame the game for this. It's more so my 10 years of Halo muscle memory's fault. I guess the game and the servers were pretty glitchy, but I don't think it's fair to blame the game because it's not finished yet. Like, they're not calling this a beta for a reason. I'm not sure if this is in the settings because I didn't really check around it a whole lot, but if it isn't, I would want there to be a setting where enemy outlines are thicker, especially during the first day when everyone didn't customize their Spartans yet. I found it very easy to confuse my teammates with the enemies because everyone was looking very default. Even at the end of the beta, there were definitely a few times where I would shoot a few bullets at a teammate because I wasn't entirely sure. It's like with Smash. Your colors used to be restricted to the color of your team, and now that it's whatever color you want, it's going to take some time to get used to it. Lastly, I wish all the maps were in it from day one. I get on a technical end that they maybe needed to slowly roll them out. Outside of the controls, I feel like being restricted to one map only against bots really did hinder my first couple hours with this game. So now we're going to get a bit more positive and look at the stuff I was really worried about with this game. Sprint, ADS, vaulting, and sliding. The problem with Sprint is that it always ruined 343 Halo's map design. Here, Sprint isn't that fast. One of my buddies sent me a tweet saying it was like 2 to 5% quicker. I'm not sure if that's true, but I would believe it because it really didn't feel like I was flying through the maps when I was sprinting. It just felt like I went from walking to speed walking, which I like. Because it isn't the fastest, it doesn't hurt the level design of this game, at least the 3 maps that were in the beta. I really like these maps. I feel like they're right at home with the older Halos. I didn't really take it in that much when I was playing the game, but I saw some people talking about how you only show up on the radar if you're sprinting, and I really like that change because you don't really move that quick. So now with Sprint, you have to worry about showing up on people's radars to get to places quicker, but because you can act so quickly, if someone does ambush you, you can shoot them right away. It feels balanced for Halo, which is probably the first time Sprint has been like that since Reach. And given how worried Halo fans have been for Sprint in this game, I think they did a really good job with it. ADS. As I said earlier, it kind of f***ed with my muscle memory. I kind of wish there were less guns that had it, but I think that's just me wanting this game to be more like the older Halos. I think my only big gameplay issue with it is how it handles guns like the sniper that have multiple layers of zoom. You hold down left trigger to zoom in, and then I believe it's left control stick in to swap between the 2 layers. It just felt a little clunky. You can change the controls so it's more like classic Halo. Doing that made those multi-layer zooms feel more fluid, but ADSing with the pistol or the assault rifle just felt worse with that. I don't know how you would fix this. Maybe you can just make it dependent on how far you hold the trigger, but I feel like that would just annoy a lot of people. One thing I really liked about having classic Halo ADS and more modern ADS is weighing which one of the 2 I wanted to use in a fight. I had a battle rifle on me and an assault rifle. So let's say I'm fighting someone at a pretty big distance. I can use my battle rifle to get more accurate headshots than the assault rifle, but if I was getting hit, I would lose all of the zoom from the battle rifle. So in situations where I found I was getting pulled out of the zoom a lot, I would switch to the assault rifle and use that more consistent ADS. It's something I don't think I've ever considered in another shooter. Granted, it might be in Halo 5. I don't know. I didn't play it. So we're 2 for 2 for stuff I was worried about being in this game so far. Vaulting. It's a bit laggy, which I kind of like. Advanced movement like this should be laggy, so the player is punished for using them in bad situations. It's not a get out of jail free card, much like with the slide. One thing I like that they're doing with all of the advanced movement techniques that everyone has access to all the time is that they either made it slower than other games like with the sprint, or the player is vulnerable during it like with the slide and the vault. Like, you're basically a sitting duck after the slide. If you don't jump, you get no momentum out of it, and now you're just stuck there crouching in front of the enemy. And when you jump, you have to commit to the jump because it's a Halo game. Offensively, I think it's a good last-ditch effort to get a kill. You can slide in on someone, get a couple shots, and jump, and hopefully a melee would be enough to kill. But if you don't jump or kill them, you're probably going to die. There were many times when I slid in on an enemy, didn't jump, and just got obliterated as soon as my momentum was done. It's also a pretty decent option to run away if any enemy gets a jump on you. So yeah, the 4 things that I was really worried about in this game, I like how they handled it, which is a great segue to get into the positives. Every multi-kill I got in this game made me feel like a god. That's what I always loved about games with a high time to kill. Because 2 guys can do so much damage to you, you have to work that much harder to kill one of them and then hopefully be able to kill the second. And with how this game handles advanced movement options, if you're better than your opponents, you can use them to maneuver around their attacks. But if you're worse than them, they're probably going to pick you off. The guns. For the most part, they all feel and sound great. To go through all of them really quickly, I loved how the assault rifle felt. The pulse carbine is fun to shoot. It does have tracking to it, but it doesn't feel the most broken. In fact, I felt like this gun was kind of weak. I definitely lost the majority of my fights using this gun. The battle rifle, throwing a grenade and getting a headshot, is still fun as hell. The commando, I'm shit with it, but it's fun as hell. This is easily my second favorite gun in the game. I think Halo Infinite's pistol might be my favorite pistol in all of Halo. There's just something about landing headshots with it that's so satisfying. It's definitely the kill confirm noise, eh? Guess I'll mention it now. That sound is so satisfying. Just every single time it went off, it just felt so good. Plasma pistol, I think I used it once. My only thoughts on it is that it kind of sounded different. Wasn't expecting it to sound like that. The Bulldog. This was my favorite gun in the beta. How it felt, how it sounded, the animation during it. It feels so satisfying to kill people with this gun. I think this might be one of my favorite shotguns of all time. Heat Wave. This one also felt a bit underpowered, but it was fun to shoot. I really like how you can change which way the bullets flew with this gun. The Needler. Still feels great. The Sniper. Feels the same. I'm still really bad with it, which is why I'm happy you can drop guns now. So now I can pick it up and just throw it off the map so no one has it. Or taxi it to my friend so I don't have to find another gun to pick up to give it to him. The Skewer feels like a rocket launcher that doesn't explode, but in like a really good way. I was also really bad with this one. It definitely feels like it's intended to be an anti-vehicle gun. The Ravanger. This is definitely my least used gun next to the plasma pistol. It's not because I didn't like it. In fact, I really enjoyed shooting this thing, but I feel like I just really found it on the map. The rocket launcher is fun as it's always been. Honestly, the most notable thing about it was a glitch I kept getting that I found really funny. Sometimes it just wouldn't play the animation for shooting the rocket. Like, instead of going like, it would go like, it's just like such a surreal experience to not have that feedback on a gun and then see the rocket flying. It's a really good lesson in how much animation can help the feel of a game. Lastly, at least I'm pretty sure that's it, the hammer. The hammer actually got a legitimate change in this game. It has a way longer swing now, but a way bigger area of effect. It's more feasible to get double kills with the hammer in one swing now. I like that they're adding this distinguish between the hammer and the sword. But now that the hammer has a larger area of effect and a wider swing, there's a legitimate choice to be had to choose between the sword and the hammer. Very good job with the guns in this beta. For the grenades, plasma and regular grenades still feel the same. Spike grenades definitely feel like they got a buff though. Like in the other Halos, if I missed a spike grenade, I felt like it's just completely useless. But here, if I don't stick someone, there's still a chance I'm going to kill them. Onto equipment, there were 3 in the beta. The barrier is kind of It feels like it takes twice as long as a bubble shield to come up, which I thought was really bad because it can break. The first time I dropped it and it finally went through the animation and the shield popped up, I just looked at it like, seriously? Unlike the bubble shield where you can drop that and possibly survive getting killed. With this, I feel like you have to drop it as soon as you get hit by that first bullet if your opponent can aim. The radar is basically one of Hanzo's moves in Overwatch, except you can stick it to enemies. Oh man, I wish I tried it. I want to know if you can stick it to guns too. And you might be able to stick it to teammates. I know there were a few times on the map that it spawns on. There was a pulse coming out of me, and it was blue, so that means there's a teammate's radar. I don't know. But for the next beta, I'm definitely checking if you can stick it to, like, guns and teammates. And now we get to the thing I was most excited to try out about this game. The Grapple Hook. It has a good acceleration to it, but it still starts out pretty slow, which I like because Halo is a slower paced shooter. Everything with the Grapple Hook, I thought to myself, I wonder if this will work. Actually worked. You can latch on to other players with it. You can swing around walls with it, or like pull a Spider-Man and swing along the ceiling. Just how this game's momentum works in tandem with the grappling hook is so satisfying to do. Like, some of the clips I've hit with this are easily the most satisfying kills I've gotten in a shooter in a very long time. There's just so much with this grappling hook that you can do. Afterwards, you're just like, whoa. I didn't run into a lot of opportunities where this was really useful in, probably because you're fighting bots, but you can pick up guns with it and it's very fun. Probably should have mentioned it earlier when I was talking about grenades, but that part in the trailer where the guy threw a grenade at the energy sword and it bounced to him, I was not able to replicate that. I just assumed it wasn't in this beta, but then I saw some dude on Reddit did it. So I guess there's just a very precise angle you have to throw the grenade at for it to work. The last thing I want to mention about the grapple hook is that using it with the hammer is absolutely goated. Every kill I got with those two together just felt so satisfying. I did feel like there was a cap on the amount of fun that could be had with this beta though, because bots get predictable and they're only so fun to fight against, which is why I'm so happy they turned on PvP for a bit. I think those 2 hours where they had PvP on was some of the most fun I've had in a shooter in a very long time. The guns just feel so satisfying, and because there's a limitation to the movement, when you are able to schmoove on someone, the kills are so good. It just sucks that those moments would only feel perfect during those 2 hours when you were fighting humans. Nothing against the bots though, they are kind of funny. There was one time where one just started fully running away from me, and then I guess when it was about to die, it quickly jumped, turned around, threw a grenade and hit me with a headshot and melted me. It feels like there's just like a switch in the bots' heads that they flick on for when they want to be good and flick off for when they want to be dumb. The last thing I really enjoyed about this beta were the AIs. Not like the bots, but like that AI you can put in your head. It just felt like I had a hype man in my head the whole time. Pyramid was easily my favorite. I think it's just good positive reinforcement from the game, and also gives extra insight on what's going on with the match. I probably should have mentioned this when I was talking about the guns, but I really like how this game handles respawning weapons. For everything you can pick up in this game, there's a meter that slowly fills up for when it's going to spawn. It's just good visual indication on when a gun is coming back. And if the gun is currently in a situation where it can't be respawned, there'll be like a red silhouette indicating that it can't start spawning yet. And for the power weapons, when it was nearing, I believe, the 20-second mark, your AI will tell you that it's spawning soon, and a countdown will pop up over the gun. I feel like it's the perfect balance of giving not too much information, but also enough information so you don't have to memorize weapon spawn times. And the last category of stuff I want to talk about, the stuff I didn't really mess around with that much. The customization was pretty good. Again, I didn't really look into it too much because I just wanted to play the game. I still messed around with it a little bit. I like the customization options that are given. The battle pass, I love how that's being handled. I just didn't really care that much because I was going to lose everything anyways. Like with the training area. I can tell I'm going to spend a lot of time with this in the full release, but in a beta, I don't want to grind out getting 3 stars because I just want to try out the multiplayer. And unless I'm forgetting anything, I don't think I am, that was the Halo Infinite beta, not a beta. I have gone from cautiously optimistic to optimistic about this game. Guys, I think we're going to get a good Halo again. God, I hope this game is actually going to be really good. I did have a blast with it, but this game could just end up having 0 legs after launch. And the campaign could be. But at the very least, the guns are going to be fun to shoot. I think my biggest takeaway from this beta, other than it's not bad, is that this game feels like Halo. And this is the first time I'm able to say that about a 343 Halo. Halo 4 and 5, they don't look like Halo, and they don't sound like Halo to me. Like, one thing that's always irked me about them is that all of the human guns sound futuristic, and just how everything was designed. I just didn't like the look. It didn't feel like Halo. Like, I really don't like this design for Master Chief, but I love Infinite's design for him. I think that's just the biggest takeaway with this beta. This game feels like Halo. Do you agree? Think I'm an idiot? Comment down below. Dislike the video if you're still trying to sign into Halo Waypoint, and subscribe for more bad content. Follow me on other platforms if you want. Take care, guys.